That which is, or yes, human language and sacred speak cannot come from that which is not. Okay, and so that which is sacred speak, the holy beauty cannot come from that which is letter or meaningless sounds like drum beats on acid and LSD of the tubal, the meshek, or music or mashk. Okay, the language, if there are some orangutans in the anthropology and linguistic departments of the Antichrist and are hearing it, I'm telling you that the language is not coming from bunch of soma stoned and ancht apes that are drumming. Okay, the language is not coming from the sounds and the drum beats. The language is coming from language. The language is coming from ecstasy, from absolute existence, or Yasin Yasna, Izad Yazdan, praiseworthy, love-worthy, excited-worthy, ecstatic-worthy, love-making-worthy, priest-دیدنی, priest-worthy, raise-worthy, یزش-worthy, یشای-worthy, یشم-استون, یسپر-استون, who is حالی ها اللهی کروز کرسی. Okay, and so that is love that is independent and needless from what the hell you are doing, or whether you are praying him or not. He's absolutely fine. He doesn't need even the Holy Spirit or even the Amen Spirit, that is Christ, to worship him. He's worshiping himself. He's yesing to yes. The yes is yesing to yes. That is what we call it as what? As event horizoning. And that's the one that Isa knows best, better than all of us. The Rajul Arja or the Hala Halo of these, Allah knows that Allah is, that's why he says, Iya Ashad Iya, or I live, Al Hayyul Ghayyum, or again, if you come to 32, then you see the Iya Asharina in Arabic style. This Hayya, and so Allah says Allah is the one who is Al-Hayyu, and that is one. And then but the samading or the event horizoning is again Al-Hayy, and so Allah is the one as Hayyul Hayy. Okay, that is why he says that he comes and says in Exodus 3 that the famous let me that Al-Hayya, and that is Al-Hayya. Okay, that is the living one, and then it says that I am the living, and the living doesn't need the dead, and so that's why it says Al-Hayy, and then Qayyum is the same. It is standing, sustain. It is not sustainer of existence. It is Qayyum, standing. That is, I'm independently standing outside of all of you all together. That's why Allah is the cause or the qaza of Christ and Holy Spirit, Amen Spirit and Holy Spirit together. The book, the author can write another book just like this book doesn't, or the author doesn't need the pen, just touch it. You can write anytime that you want, but again, if he doesn't, it is because he loves the book, because he is the awesome book. Because again, in Matthew 17, it says, Matthew 17 verse 5 says that I love this the book that I've written, this Christ, this Torah, this angel of the waters that I've written, or this Christ, or the حق حقیوسی هوختا خکک تعالی تالتیوس تعالی book that is written نزل عليك الكتاب بالحق is awesome, and so that's where the language is coming, not from the mashak or the music on LSD or on mushroom. Okay, not like what your Buddhist Beethoven is doing, or the Mozart on the maggoty mushroom is doing. Okay, that is all just the whizzing or the farting in the dark matter, dark energy. The language, the talk, is only for putting aside the crap and exalting the Yasin Yasna Izad Yazdan Yazish Vorsi Yazata. Okay, that's why it is at the heart of the book of life. Is what at the heart of the book of life. You can ask it from every Muslim kid that is being butchered by the maggoty security forces of Modi in Kashmir. You can ask them what is the heart of the Holy Quran or the book of life, and then they say Yasin, or the 36th surah, and that is the Yasin Yasna Izad Yazdan, and that is sitting where? At the heart of Isa. That's why there is a power in the name of Isa, because at the heart of Isa is yes of the Yasin Yasna Izad Yazdan, Yazish Vorsi, praise Vorsi, Hayyul Ghayyum, who is living and standing. And why he is living and standing? Because Allah is yazishing him holy self. No need for his religion, and no need for the religious people of his religion. That's why he is love Lord. And so that which is or yes, human language or the sacred speak cannot come from that which is not. Although dead animals and talking apes and gentle junks of the backyard, or the Hindu hellions of the foamy pharaoh, or the Buddha beast could consider the geometries and waves and sounding sounds to be sacred, because they get them to make F-16s and F-18s, and then so that they can go, or MiG jet fighters, or the Super Etendards, or the Mirage jet fighters of the French army and the European Union, or the Tornadoes of the German army, or you name it. However, the sacred is, yes, yasin, yasna, the speak Sophiaing, Allahi Zad Yazdan, yasin, yasna, yishawi, yashper, pupil, and the living ones who can listen up and hear, and Samuel, the L or the Ha L or DL, and DL is the L or Allah, or the Holy Allah. And then eagerly and chesed hasudically, or the jealously, or the with fervor and ardor and lovingly, answer back and beyond, or echo back to his al-hayyul qayyum, or al-hayya asher qayyum, or hayya, or the living, standing, that is standing and living, or al-qayyum allazi qayyum, or qum in Hebrew, or qum asher qum, or hayya asher hayya, or iya asher iya, he speak with, and they answer, or they echo back, where in Surah 1 verse 5, that iya kana na'budu wa iya kana nasta'in, or which means iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. That iya is the ya, and it means you alone we worship, and you alone we ask for help. And so you can, if you read something that is talking about three gods, you can rip it apart and throw it in the garbage can, no matter what kind of person has written that. This holy Allahi speech, who is Isa, or Ishut, or this is the book of existence. Okay, this is this is Isa, Messiah, or yes, or Ishut, or Yeshi, or Yesi. Some people call it Jesse, but again, forget about that Jess. Or the Yeshi, or Istomai, or Istomai, or hast, or exist, or isut, all coming from the same root word of yes, es, yes, yesh, as, or praise, or ra'as, for instance, as, that is the raise, ra'as, is, priesty, then, that is the yes. This holy Allahi speech, who is being uttered right now from Hoshem Shamu Elei Allah, cannot be heard and received and Shamaim by the, because they are not they are the by Harry Hellions, or the silent words, because they are not the people of the Shamaim. They are cat, they are dumb and deaf, a bunch of retards with soma steroid, pride parading gentle genitalias, that have a little bit of doped IQ, and that's it. That gives them the power to do what? To go and plagiarize and counterfeit the real Big Bang with the 6 bangs, and then the 7 bang, and then the 8th bang, that is as long as 50,000 years, or the harvest season of the 6th bang, and the 7th for the becoming period, and then a becoming process, and then the 8th, or the harvest, cannot hear and receive and Shamayim, be Shamayim by the silence words, with no desire and no need for make love, or for sacrifice, or for basically like Rochelle Curry, and the sister that stood in front of the Israeli bulldozer to stand in front of falsehood and tyranny and bully, or the genius by Harry Helios, or the genius noses, like again, as I mentioned, like the maggoty Mozarts, or the mushroom eating Mozart, or the genius Beethoven, that a gene has farted into his nose, and then as we read in Genesis 6, has found his mind a suitable place to come and inhabit it, as a night perforate, wet and moist place to rest in there, or that of Jim Morrison, or that of Jimi Hendrix. But again, these are the on the LSD, that is the extract of psilocybin, extract of the same mushroom that chimpanzee, those other ones have been eating, whose Egyptian definition of sacred doesn't go beyond the numbering and the measuring science of this life, love, neural nadi shocks, and sacred sounds and waves of the meshach, or the tubal the meshach, or the music, tabal the musician, or the drummer the musician, and the physical forms, and the singing bowls, and the mandala maps, and the grim geometries of the sullen sound soul of the abyss, or the apush dev of the Avesta. And again, as we read this, is again and again, is just throughout all the entire history, the Abel, the Habelah, he came and then used the same speak, or the Sophia, that is not coming from its absence, but is complete, which means that the one cannot come from zero, and one is one, and zero is not actually existing. But there are a bunch of retards that can't even think about existence of something that is zero. Okay, that we call them mathematicians. But Abel came and then give a language, or a hymn, or a praising, or priesting, or yazeshing, or yazatawing, the Yasin Yasna, Izad Yazdan, Hariha Allahi Allah. And Allah liked it, because he is using that. But the other side, we see the Cain, that is a metal smith, and goes into the dark matter, dark energy pit. It is a pig, a predecessor pig of the Osirisian, Krishnian little green man's, or the little horn of Daniel 7 verse 8 that we read. And then he went there and then came up with bunch of sounds. You can call them symphony, or you can call them tubaling, or drumming, or meshaching, or musicking, or a physical form, or singing bowl, or a scientific, or a robot that is dancing for Allah or something. And then Allah said, what the hell is this? Look at my birds. I am the genius. I am making this master creation, and then you made the dummy robot, and then you bringing me genetical modification, or the maps of the shikuts, or the sakats, or the psyche, sagi, doggy psyche that is sick, and then you call this offering. Get a lot of here. And that's why again the jealousy came into the Cain, because this speaking is something that there are very beautiful. 7-year-old kid is doing it in Al-Aqsa Mosque, in front of 20 orangutans with guns and enough firepower to kill 1,000 humans, and that kid is doing the shafasophiaing or the heliotrapy of the heart, and just with saying shabak subhan sepas sepastos sebamai alua, and he's doing more than all of those orangutans combined by the orangutans that dress them and arm them, combined by the ones that make those arms, combined by the Buddhist baboons that are thinking about making that, orchestrating that military industrial complex. All of those orangutans together cannot do what that baby is doing, and that is producing tremendous amount of hatred. That is why they are hitting the brothers and sisters in Kashmir. Jazakallah khairan. The resistance forces keep firing and smoking and incensing, because soon God is going to terminate these anomalies and then send them back to the abyss that they are dharmaing to it. Although the scientists, monks, and the kashafers, which means discoverers, that was precisely when a pig or a swine is digging the dark matter, dark energy, or is trying to أبعد بعد بين أسفارنا, or let us deepen our diving depths into the omega, which requires the higher alpha. Okay, they are called the kashafers, that are going into the psychic sky. We call them the aliens. Okay, in that realm, they are the Vimana drivers. The 9 kings of the earth that Abraham make war with them, and then زد را پتوشون کرد, terminated them with the help of the Christ or Melchizedek. In the battle of the Siddim, or the Shadow Valley, or the dark matter, dark energy valley. Again, there are a bunch of scholars that are looking at the earth about the leftovers of the battle of Siddim, but archaeology research, but again are wasting their time. It's better for them to go to a mosque and church and praise the praiseworthy, because soon we are all going to be terminated. And so monks and kashafers, or the discoverers, which means the Hare Krishna orangutans call it creativity. Plagiarization and stealing is creativity. Attacking to the heaven and not entering from the door, that Christ says in John 10:1 that they are thief. It is called Day of Independence. Researchers, again, Jedis of the Star Wars, or the sorcerers, or the F-16, F-18, F-22, F-35 making, B-2 making, electricity making, internet making, physicists and scholars of of Jezebel and her Shivai daddy, or Bel Bel god of the Buddha Pharaoh, have been using the human language. That's why we call them parasites. They don't shut up, but they use the language in order to sell zero, although it is not existing. It is just a conceptual thing that gives them all of these things, all of these. They call it creativity, they call it liberation, they call it end of suffering by absolutists. I've been using the human language. Again, this language is just perturbed their meditation. To blind the Vishwarupai Tian Tower of the Brahman Hamongagic Barack Obama. Again, read about that, or the asbab. That's how the asbab are made by the human human kashafers, discoverers of Brahman. or Parahaman, Farab, dark energy, of the dark energy of the dark matter desert. However, the primordial design and the holy purpose behind and beyond the human language is love, is ecstasy, is religions. That's the only religion. And Allahuddin and Allah is Islam, or the holy, sacred, heavenly happiness. Isahi religion. Isahi ecstasy of making love and having and worshipping and yazashing or yishaing with Hashem name, or the be'esm Shem name, or the live loving through priesting or priesting joya of the praising and having Allah Izzad. That's where the language is coming in, and it has nothing to do with the drum or the meshek or the music or the drum skin, meshek. Although Phrygian Fars and Ankh Jews and liberated geniuses and dirt-digging discoverers, which are called scientists and psychologists nowadays, at the end of time, but 3,000 years ago they were called as the witchcrafters, as the Keshef, the Hebrew strong 3787, we call it Kashef in Arabic Persian, wonder workers, or the smelling noses, khortums, of the gay god of science, wrongly considered the history to be the domain for contribution through the felt presence of the immediate experience that this Terence McKenna baboon of the CIA is talking. Okay, then the felt presence of the immediate experience is what the experience, the ones that are not dead, are having on that malakuti membrane or the mammary plane of the Hebrew uburing to the Chinook Preton Bridge, or the samadhic death of the Cubans, this mushroom eating animal. They cut the history, the domain for the contribution of soma eating animal body, or the biological mind, dark matter, dark energy rooted matter energy mind, body that is rooted on the dark matter, dark energy mind, for animal body for conquest of universe or the lower cosmos, or closing the cosmic egg. I'm gonna just make a soon omelette from all of these reptile yogis that are, and the filthy sperms that are in that condom, or in that lower Kush Kashiapi canyon of the Canaanites, Carnes, or the minerals, maggoty minerals, that are proud of killing the Muslims, whose art is throwing Allahu Akbaring speak at their F-16s and their robots. That's the ultimate. Again, the Muslim and Christians don't know in what kind of context they are embedded, but they are making legendary love stories by going to the churches and to the mosques and worshipping and priesting or praising or priestidaning, or yishaing or yazeshing the Izad Yazdan Yasin Yasna, because they are living in the land of the zeros. Again, I forgot which one verse by is in Holy Quran that it says that, can't you see that the people in the left and your right are being disappeared, and someone is suddenly multiply them by 0 and then they are finished and they become the victims of the Dracula. The ones that are continuing in this minefield and are looking at the Babel radar and know that if you go out and then you're going to be raped and you're going to step on a mine and then you're going to be blown up and turn and receive the mark of the beast on your head or hand that I've received, then they are continue just keep looking at the Christ countenance of Allah or his salam screen. They are making a legend, a life story that will be allowed to sit in the book of ease, in the book of ease, here in the book of hast, in the book of is or ish or ishut or ishut or existence or ichut or istomai or standing, is standing. And that's why it is called the book of the ones that are is standing, because they are pointing toward Hebrews around 433, toward the holiness. Some people say we don't need holiness. Anyway, so these orangutans say what? These zeros say that the dark forces in the universe that want to get the whole world to go back into their cosmic egg and close it and then forgot about what's going on. And again, that's the reason that Dracula or Antichrist wants to maximize the number of the people who are betraying to their God-given obvious fact that you are one Zurre Zarriya or Atman Etminani Asurahi assured core that is occupying one mind unit or one مزغ مصور مصر عدم هامون زمون time space. They want to do what they want to they are looking at the history to be the domain for the contribution of animal body. And what's the contribution of the animal body? Biological eating of the mushroom or the ankh or the soma, or okay, psilocin or the cubensis mushroom, psilocybin or cubensis mushroom, that builds LACs and this and that, and all the tools and the asbab that we read in Asura 40 verse 36 or 28-38, the weapons of the dark Durga dragon Droge or Drager in German language, or in Avesta Duruq, which means lie, deception. And so the domain, and so the history is the domain of the contribution of the cubensis eating animal body, biological form, or the mind for conquest of the universe. And so the conquest is the anti-Christian war with the Messiah, Hikakras, or the Ravana. That's why they want to go, and we read in Asura 7 verse 20, or Asura or Genesis 3 verse 22, 23, and that has happened. They are doing it. And if someone even at this time is making a YouTube video, they're gonna censor it, because again, the freedom of speech, you wanna go for interiorize the commands of your oppressor, and then you go continue, you're more than welcome to join the Zero Army of the Zionist zombies or the Zen masters and Gog and Magog that want to conquest the Malak al-Maut or Christ or the Malek or the angel of the death. And they want the immortality by killing the angel of death, It's another name of Christ, the owner of the keys of the Hades and Sheol. And so they want for the conquest of the cosmos, again alpha to now the wants to completely. That's why we read in a hadith of Prophet Muhammad that first of the Magog that go all the way to the last Magog, they will say in the Galilee garden once was salt water, now we've drank it all. And so the entire aliens of these salt waters or the lower cosmos sky are going into the to underworldly war for conquest of Ravana that owns the lower cosmos or the lower earth, that is or the earth or the dark matter, dark energy pit that Allah has given to Zulqarnain, has given to him, of universe or earth. For conquest of earth, you can put here the earth or the lower cosmos, capped by solar ceiling of Christ cornerstone, who is bottom pupil, whose bottom pupil point of trunk of the tributary temple of life, by an organized intelligence, again the domain for the contribution of animal body or the monkey body for conquest of universe, by an what? A devil, Devi, high IQ, organized intelligence that has bass, or the fallen Devis of the devil, or the divs according to Western terminology, or the Vishwarupai empire of the Taoist and Taoist tower of the insecure ego nafs of the Babylonian baboon pigs and their Rudra, Maruti, Makaras and Makari vehicles. However, the Islamo-Christian ego is not racing with anyone because her primordial prince priest has already won and conquered, and ICXC Nikka Nakarud on Karmad, the Magagi yogis and hippie chimeras of the Krishna Scratch, which were coming for conquest of the justice and beauty and holiness and light and love and purpose, or taking great spoil booty robbery from Isahi Torturi temple as thief. That's what they want to do in John 10:1 says, or Asura 7 verse 20, or Genesis 3 verse 22. Again, the entire history is the domain of ant-eating maggots to go to war with God, because again they found where is the tree of life, and they want life without priesting the life. That's why we call them as angermaniu in Avesta, or angry parasitic spirit. Because these smart Sodomites and Jewish geniuses of the thoughtful Pharaoh Buddha have been investing their willpower, or the quvvat, or the qivvata, or the hope and the empty efforts for building the military industrial complex of the Dadichi Dracula and the Sanat, or the Sunna, that's the industrial is coming, and the weapons of the Durga dragon, of the Dadichi Dracula. They're overthinking, or they're putting their piggy heads in the sand salt water for measuring and numbering. The Maya Mirage, or the Ma'ol Mahin, has turned them into the saddest losers of history, because they had the time to joy and rejoice in praising the praiseworthy, or priesti than worthy, or priest worthy, or Yeshai worthy, or Yasin worthy, or Yazesh worthy. Izad Yazdan Yasin Yasna, who is yes worthy. And instead of that, they have been wasting their time to attack to the Tortory temple as thieves. Again, they are not just happy done with attacking as Modi is doing it to the Kashmir, or as Xi Jinping is doing to the churches and the mosque in the China, or as Netanyahu is doing in Israel, or as Erdogan is doing by attacking to the northern Syria, or as this bin Salman is doing in Yemen. They want to attack to the Tortory temple of eternity. That's how much they have. They are retarded. That's the level depths that of the again, the Sodom and Egypt. The Sodom is just a tiny part of that Egypt thing. And that Egypt thing is the domain of the for contribution, or the felt presence of the immediate experience of the zero, or the samadhic this. That's because God said, don't eat it, otherwise you're gonna die. And that's how all of them are fallen into the experience, the this inside the Laylatul Qadr that Adam and Eve took. I was also took it, received it because of eating the cubensis by my animal body. And so they doing that for conquest of the universe, okay, for the conquest of the universe, or the lower cosmos, or the earth. All of these skies and the galaxies that these orangutans are talking, these are all considered as surface earth. And the deeper is the dark matter, dark energy realm of the universe that is being kept by an organized intelligence. And so what the hell is this organized intelligence? That is the Vishwarupai empire that we read in Daniel 2:31, or the what we read in Asura 40:36 or 28:38, and that is the intelligence. All that ego has to go to war with heart is more and more levels of fine-tuned intelligence. That's it. But it just does not want to love the love, and so that's why it goes for more and more power. Because if you want to conquest the universe by an organized intelligence, then you need tremendous amount of intelligence. And that's why the Pharaoh is using the mind battery units, or the slaves, the Muslim and Christian and Yahudahi and Zoroastrian slaves that are giving the mind power for that progressing that plan. However, but the Muslims and Christians are not racing when they are in the church, are not racing with anyone, because her primordial prince priest has already won and conquered. That's the meaning of the eternity. And ICXC Nikanakaru, these Gog and Magog, or the attack of them that are not going through the door, or the conquest, these magus that are going for the conquest of the justice, beauty, or getting great spoil, as we read, and booty, or the shul 38, 11, 12, 13, or the robbery from Isahi Tortory temple of Yasin Yasna is Al Yazdan. Because these smart Sodomites and Jewish geniuses have been investing their willpower for making these, and then going into the Maya mirage for measuring and numbering, and that's the intelligence that they have. But again, they know that they are numbering nothing, and they are measuring the Maya mirage, and the basis of all of the numbering and measurements is basically zilch, or they say that I to the power of 2 equal to 1 or I to the power of 2 equal to minus 1 are both non-existence. What is primary is the zero. Neither plus 1 nor minus 1 of the imaginary numbers or the real numbers are the real. And that's how you can go after numbering something. The Maya Mirage or the Ma'ul Mahin has turned them into the saddest losers of the history, because they are not easing, or they are not isting or yesing or istomying or issuting or issuting or yazeshing or pristing the Isa and Izad Yazdan Yasin Yasna at the Holy Allahi Horta of Yazesh Vorsi Isus. Meanwhile, that mindful monkeys have been wasting musrafun their time, their ethosing ego, which means ethosing ego again. That's the domain of the contribution of felt presence of the experience. And so for the experience, which means that they are consuming their enosh, ennosing or nosing by enoshing zero. Have been wasting their time for discovering electricity and building the tech toys for bodhisattvic boys of the Buddha beast of Dark Durga the Rajani Duruk. Islamo-Christian hearts have been love making, not with the genitalia, not with the mind, but with the heart. The love language, with the ecstasy or the hijayun of the Sarajan Vahajan that is happening at this very moment of Holy Ho Allahi, Ho Allah of the whole now. With holy truth or Allahi Hawshem be Ismail name Shamuel 1745. That Taoist sound suckers have defied, or harif, that's why we read in 1st Shamuel 1775. That's what they are doing, the kharaf or haraf or inhiraf, or they are curved and deviated. That's the literal meaning of what we have in 1st Samuel 1745 or the 1st Samuel, and that's the only great name that we have, that is Allah. That's the great name of God. All of the mysteries and that are related to Allah and the great name of God are rubbish. It's one thing. It is not rocket science, and God has given it to everybody. It is Allah. But again, once you are living in the water and you are using this blessed name, then you are like a fish that I'm trying to explain to it about air, but it's never been in the air, because you're always well irrigated with the water of life, because that's the holy Ho Allah, Ho La Li, Ho Li, Ho or Al El, that's the El, and that El is holy. Yeah, all of those things are the name, the Hashem be Ismallah Rahman Rahim. That's it. And so the people that are living in that water, they think that, oh, it might be something mystic about this. No, it is just that. However, there are two things, as we read. We have Ainul Yaqin, Ilmul Yaqin. The Ilmul Yaqin is a certain knowledge, and then the other one is eye of certainty. They don't have that because they were not supposed to eat the manna mushroom, because they are the believers, they are not the gnostics or that have shenase. And for that we have eye of certainty, and with the eye of certainty you see the Christ Kalimi lamp or the cow of God, and then you reach to the knowledge of certainty that if this lamp is on, then it means that there is a light source inside the glass. And so that is again that the light source is we will look at it at the last chapter, that I must foreshorten it so that the Euphrates can leave the Adama or the Adamhood or the groundness or Hamuna or human skin that they are using. There are many angels that are trapped inside the Adama or Hamuna or Zamuna or Zamuni or Mesr, Musawwar animal body that must leave that, not to attack like the thieves to the heaven, but there are some that are going to go through the highway to the heaven. And again I'm gonna just go back to it. In this highway to the heaven is the highway of Shahadat. Inshallah we will attack. That's the masila or the sail or the soul staircase, soul pathway, soul conduit, soul and how do you go into that heaven? Not by attacking to heaven, as here it says that they are going to go to get a spoil and booty. No, you go there by finding bunch of American or Saudi Arabian. It doesn't matter if they are in going to mosque or church. If they are getting money in order to kill a bunch of people, they are not bringing into the action and fruit the book that they are writing. And so that highway is the highway of attacking to the tyrannical, cruel King Kong of the Vanara jungle. Or the god of the aliens and the little Grimas, or the Krishna or Osiris god. And so how do they do that? You find bunch of these anomalies and then you terminate them. Or and then if you kill them, then you kill the next one. Again, I'm here to bring the sword. It's time for the army of the Khorasan to move in the name of Imam Reza Mersi Marzia, or the guarantor of the Gazelle of the Dawn. It's another name of Christ. Or the Dohind of Dawn. It's another name of Christ. And they must attack in the name of Mercy, Reza Marzia, from Imam Reza's shrine in Khorasan, in Mashhad, with La ilaha illallahing name that is defied by the yogi makers of F-35s and F-16s, and then the Sling of David Iron Dome defense system of the false Israel, to the Sling of David makers of the false Israel, that is putting Baha'i baboons in Haifa, that their Bab of Baha is commemorating the death of the 850 shamans of the Baal or the Shiva Shova. That is what they are safeguarding. And so that highway of Isaiah 19:23 opens through the dying and loving and making love and distancing with honesty, with truth, with love, please foresee. That is how that with no anxiety. Again, these people have no anxiety because they have already conquered, with no anxiety and fear, with no desire for nothing, and with no headache for thinking about conquering and robbing and attacking to higher dimension of Ruh Ravana Hitulturi temple, the holy humanity or green wits or the living words or healthy sheep have been languaging with Allah love Lord and have been happily and lovingly and secretly Subhan Shabach Sepasto Sepaste Sebasto Salahing to ایزد یزدان یاسین یسنا یزش ورسی یزات ورسی پریز ورسی پریست ورسی Allah. Beauty, holy, gentleness, and thanking him holy self for the retry victory of his Christ cloudy love lamp in the Bismillahi battle malhama against the dark Durga, the Rajuni lie, and her pharaonic phallus, or the Baraki Budapest, or the Osirisian bellboy husband, and her Majadun Jedi, Star Wars Jedis. And that's the basically the happiness and that they have. ای غم سینه که لطف یار می آید غم ای دل من گم شو که آن دلدار می آید. And so it says that go out a sadness from my chest because the gentleness of the Jerusalem or the Yara Salam or the teacher Salam or the Tir Salaming or the refuging or earring or the firing is coming from the or the Jerusalem is coming. Oh, you sad heart, get away from me, because that buyer of the hearts that are happy and are rejoiceful and thankfully thankfully beheading the yogi head of the yogi guru Jolayat, that is not 6 meters tall but 170 centimeters tall. They are thankfully and happily beheading the crab, or thankfully and happily stoning to death the sodomites is coming. And so to get away the sadness and the soberness and adulthood and mindfulness and all of that kind of crap. سینه که لطف یار می آید تو هم ای دل که من گم شو که این دلدار می آید. نم یارا شادی که از شادی گذشته است او مرا از فرط عشق او ز شادی آر می آید. So, I'm not gonna say about the happiness of having the Yar of the Jerusalem, because this Allahi Yar friend has passed from the limits of being thankful. This is beyond thankful. I am from the extreme amount of the Yeshi or Eshi or Eshri or Yeshi or Yeshai or Yazeshing or Eshking him. Again, this ish is in ishq mara as fat yeshu or yeshaying or yazishing or ishqing him or ishqing him from the extreme amount of wishing him. I am ashamed of even calling myself happy. What is happiness? That is bliss. That is a level that is not happiness. شکری نعمت ز حد شکر بیرون شد، نخواهم صبر گرچه او کسی هم کار می آید. ز من گم شو که آن دلدار می آید. صورتها که صورتهای نو آمد، علمهاتان نگون گردد که آن بسیار می آید. Go away, O surats, or the Misraims, or the faces and the fashion faces of the Egypt, because the new faces, the heavenly faces, or the surs, or the Misraim surs are coming, and your elam, as we read in Jeremiah 49, your elams, or the elam city, or the Harmagedoni tower of the Perik, erected Perik of the Shiva Lingam, or the scientifically erected pole of the pagodas are going to be collapsed and crushed, because that cornerstone is going to come very much heavily and treading the winepress of wrath of God. مسلمانان مسلمانی ز سر گیرید، کفر از شرم یار من مسلمان وار می آید. O monotheist Muslims, O monotheist Muslims, restart the Muslim, because disbelief, under the parenthesis, the disbelief and loving and ishqing and yazishing, the yazish worsi Isa cornerstone, or the lowercase Yasper stone, is coming and loving and believing like God, like loving, not like Allah, but loving so much the Christ, is coming like the Muslimi or Islamic love to Allah, because you cannot help yourself of not loving this bedrock and the foundation of the Jerusalem, that is our friend. And who is our friend? That is Isa Messiah, or the Yazish Vorsi, Esh Vorsi, Ish Vorsi, Ashe Vorsi, Yesha Vorsi, or Priest Vorsi, Christ, or the Messiah. And so here a Muslim, Master Rumia, is saying that, oh Muslims, restart the Muslimhood, because believing in Christ که کفر از شرم یار من، because مسلمان وار می آید. It's just amazing, because disbelief from the shame from the shame, or from belief, from thanking the Yar, my friend, or my Shamsul Haq Tabrizi, or Christ, or Khidr, or Zulqarnain, or Asif ibn Barkhia, is coming like the Islamic belief to Allah. And so again, this it is hard not to love the Christ that I think 65, I think it is. Yes, here, this is the Christ, this is the Ishq to the Yar, or the or the love and being ashamed of the beloved. And so this is the Christ, and they found there Yazesh Vorsi, Eshq Vorsi, priest Vorsi, Yasha Vorsi, wanting, desire Vorsi. It's good to desire, it's good to love the Christ, Abdan, super servant, from among the other servants, to whom Allah has given rahmatan, mercy, and ilman. وَعَلَّمْنَاهُ مِن لَدُنَّا عِلْمًا, and we have given him knowledge, and that's the ultimate knowledge. And so that's why Master Rumia says that just it is awesome to have this Yar, or the Yaru Salam, or the Fire Salam, meaning Yar, or the lowercase Jasper Stone friend. Hamasine, go away, go out, sadness from my heart, because the gentleness of the friend is coming. It is even this gentleness of the Christ Karimi, your friend, that has sent me to a Jezebel witch, a yogi monster that is selling gay marriage in his church, and then that's the gentleness that is sending, and then saying that, like, I'm giving to this Jezebel time to repent, stop from flirting and doing that. And if you think the sum total of the military power of this baboon Buddha of yours, or the Tamuzi third that you are singing and wailing for him in your kirtan craps ceremonies, can prevent, and all of these sectors and the robot army of this Shova, Shiva, Yishu, Sayyat can save your ass from the kicking of the Christ, you have deluded yourself. And then that's the gentleness and the lutf that Christ gently sends me, and then respectfully telling her that if you want to repent, repent. And again, if this is the ultimate level of gentleness, that this kindness gets me to come, and again, because there are many sodomites, but they are not that kind of, they don't have the rabbis and then the madness to bring that filth into church. Okay, if you are in that, like you are in the ultimate level of the damaged sodomy, and so that's the level of the retardness. And so and then Christ is making me and my Jezebelahi have an example for the 7 mosque churches upon our coming days, as well as my brother Ali Akhi, that if he is willing to forgive such a retarded reptile, Kundalini reptile, then he is more than willing to forgive an ordinary average sodomite that is pride parading, but is not pride parading with the banner of a church. Those are like going to be again burned in a level of the hellfire that the rest of those sodomites will look like a first class Caribbean cruise, first class suite in a Caribbean cruiser for them. Or in the same way, even the yogis, this is the gentleness of the love of the Yar, of the Jerusalem, because he's more than willing to forgive the yogi boogies, and because again these yogi boogies are not as monstrous as this whore of the Babel that is doing yoga and then coming to the church and worshiping the Antichrist and then coming to the church and even touching the Bible, because so many of those yogi boogies are not even, don't even have one Bible in their house. They are at least honest and they are happy with dharmaing to the zero. But there are some maggots that are actually dharmaing to the zero behind the closed door, and then hypocritically come out and then take Bible and then start preaching Bible. Those are and then Christ, this is the level of the kindness and gentleness of Allah and Christ, that they say that if you want to repent, we accept that. Let go of your hypocrisy. لطف یار می آید تو هم ای دل ز من گم شو که آن دل. Oh sad heart, get away from me because the yar is coming, the Christ is coming که آن دلدار می آید. Okay, یارا شادی شادی گذشته است و مرا از فرط عشق او ز شادی آر می آید. وار این سینه همی درد زنبوری که از در نمی گنجد که از دیوار می آید. And this is the one of the most, that the Christ is coming, but the Christ, how is he coming? Christ is not the individual, okay? Christ is not the person. The computer on which we are installed is not coming like that. It says that the Christ is going to break apart, explode the door and the walls of this chest, of this reality, because of tremendous amount and abundance of sahab al-saqil, or the heaviness and the hugeness and the abad and the dimensions of the Christ just doesn't fit in this bubble. So what is he gonna do to it? And that because he doesn't fit in the door, so he's gonna come from the wall. That's how the Christ is coming, and that's the meaning of the Christ coming. And those, so the 7 bowls of wrath are gonna the 5 bowls of the wrath are gonna massage our bubble, and then the 6th bowl is gonna cease the Euphrates, the downpour of the Euphrates. We have one Euphrates that can go up. These are the pomegranate juices that are going to kill as many NATO soldiers, or the soldiers of the Putin, or the soldiers of the Modi, or the soldiers of the bin Salman, or the soldiers of Barak Erdogan, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, or the soldiers of the Xi Jinping. And then, but again, all of them, if you want to go to attack to those, and you just only attack to the soldiers of Netanyahu, and then you will see how everybody will come after supporting that, like the Modi. And so, and then the 6th bowl is basically making the downpour of the Euphrates ether current to bring it into cessation, and then the mega dam will heat up and then will be broken by the qada of the of this Baboon Obama, and then after that the 7 bowl, and again after the 6th bowl, then basically the 6th bowl is the one that is gonna pop our reality, and then that's gonna pop. And then that's why it says that because the Christ doesn't fit in the door, so he comes from the wall and he breaks the wall, and that's how all of the walls and the foundations and the building blocks of our reality will be blown. And then what remains are a bunch of people that have not been answering to that gentleness, and abuse, or even didn't use that gentle offer, unfortunately. It is these Sabayan spirits, or the qalbi heart particles, or the zurdiyats, or the soul seed, self soul seeds, or the fruitful logos as qalahum, of the light language logic, or the living words that were embarked in the Mumbuki Ark of Noah. The universal language that I have used in this witness is very close to that single language of the heaven pen who hear us and gilgals around Allah's name. It is this Hikmatul Bayan, or the Bina Chokmaing Hikmatul Bayan, meaning logos of Allah Keter, who has already conquered, and Ruh the hearing heaven and the deaf ears, so that instead of thinking about conquering the universe, we can get to work of love making, or ishqing, or yashaing, or yazishing, or priesting, or praising, or raising the holy Allahi name of Izad Yazdan Yasin Yasna, and thanking with all him, the hymns Hamad is Allah, and receiving his fire air of the Yeru Yara Salami love life. This lingual linkage with the tertiary temper of love life that gets us to mirror the meaning mask medium of mercy is based on need, desire, want, yearning, inashing, ethosing, loving, not loving zero, but loving the only one, because zero is doesn't exist, on our ethosing side, and needless giving, feeding, grace, favor, ni'mat, and the law, ni'mating on loving logos side, that on ethosing side, and needless giving on the loving logos side. Again, our side is absolutely full of the need, and then the other side is completely needless grace. That so 4079, it is Allah who made for you the dead, or the untalking animal, or the mind. The mind is not talking, or the brain, bodies, minds, the mental mask mosaics of the beta brainwave. A giraffe is not talking, or a dolphin is not talking, although they have brain. That's why the brain is the an'am, or the animated intellect, upon which you, who are you, your itosh ina sing nuos, or your soul seed, or the nataf sperm, your spirit, your soul seed, ride, or dwell. These are all the examples of riding on the mind, and that shows that you are not your mind. And if you are sticking to a cult of the Hare Krishna, it is telling you that you are your mind, then this is not this point. It is the mind that is bending. Then you are deluded and you are duped. That is a lifeful cult. And so upon which you ride or dwell like a burden load, and tahmalo, or the own, or on which you ride, upon which you ride, or you own it. فَهُمْ لَهُمْ مَالِكُونَ have the same meaning, okay? And then the translations are the low quality translation. When you are driving on the mind, when you are dwelling on a mind, when you are loaded on a mind, when you own a mind unit machine, that shows that you are not that mind. You are the nataf, or the ethos inash, nuos, loving soul seed, or the atman, atomi, etminan, or the assured core. That you just make sure that you love zero, a nihilistic person, for instance, that is the core of you, or your zorre or zarriyat, that's the undividable core of you. From your heart, words, that's the word that we are talking, that's the consciousness. They alaqli ke hang suspend. We read about it that it is Allah who made for you dead animal minds, upon which your heart is loaded, or from you they, the mind, weights of dark matter, dark energy, are hanging, or alaq has suspended, or into them you are impregnated. Memma fi butune. This is what we have in 1666 or 2321, and so that is what it comes from their bellies, and so into their belly, or into that mind capsule, or conceptual capsule of the conceptions, you and me are impregnated, and through them, okay, those minds, machines, or pathos, fatosi, food, the fatal foods, or the sacrificial mind, you eat like ordinary food, or even soma and or the manna mahoma, or meat. This second eating is the historical contribution of the animal mind, body, brain, because it is a biological machine, a battery that can be perturbed by under the presence of the soma or hauma. For evolutionary love, a leap of mankind, or the language kind, or the word kind, or the name hearing words, because you can only hear the name when you are a word, to heaven. An evolutionary dive of animal type. This second eating is the historical contribution of animal body to heaven, not for attacking to heaven, but to book of ease and ishq and yishai, or ish, or ast, or istamai, or hast, or an evolutionary dive of animal type, or the sound hearing crystals, to mineral canyon of Canaanite, Canaanian canins, or the minerals, the right minerals, silent stones. And for you that are designed, but and for you daring in that mind machine, in that rider, in that animated intellect, in that animal that your heart is riding, and is either loving science or is loving Islam, and through them you eat like ordinary, and for you therein are other brainy benefits, survival services, in addition to the occasions that you can soul in and out, or get on and off of them, or dream this, or mushroom tryptamine trip, or even you can eat like ordinary food with them, or you can dress and function in that and so and for you therein are benefits, لتبلغ علیها حاجة فی صدورهم. And so what are these the benefits, not the brainy benefits, but that you can soul in and out or get on and off of them, or you can have out of body experience, out of mind experience, for reaching to heart, or not reaching to zilch, nothing of them through dream this. And so لتبلغ علیها حاجة فی صدورهم. And so here is one of the blessed words that I'm dusting off. And that you may word logos out, تبلغ or بلوغ or بلاغت, or reach to maturity and utter, okay, and utter, and you word out, you logos out, you speak out, you exteriorize, you reach out by praying and contacting and linking to with the Christ Karim, common center of Allah, or the talk out, you express out, you eloquent, you express out eloquently, بالغية or tabluqu or logosi, eloquently, and upon, and that you may eloquently express upon them the brain base, the base animal intellect, and that can make noises, and then get the noises to become akushkushi noises, acoustic noises, that can make you to become what? To become the language that we are using, a need, so that you can express or talk out a need. This is the need that we are loving to have. A need, a desire, a requirement, a demand, a what? A call, a yearning. This is the need of a program to have the purpose, a hunger, an appetite, eagerness, enthusiasm, fervor, a longing, a thirst, a craving, which is in your breasts, hearts, souls, seeds, fi sudurikum. And that's the لتبلغ علیها حاجة في صدورهم, the need that is in your breasts or the bosoms, or what you have in your minds. And so once this, what is, now I'm working on the need. One, this hunger, need, or hajat, or hajj, or in Hebrew, strong 2282, also Hebrew strong 2287. It is called hajjat, or the hajj, or chaq, or the chag, in or khaj, or khaj, khaj in Hebrew pronunciation, or khaj. This need, desire, yearning, requirement, hunger is the hajjing, or ihtiyaj, or hauj, or the hajjat, or the female demanding, lozum, ragbat, wanting, deficiency, poverty, lack, for pilgrim feast. This hunger for pilgrim feast, that's the meaning of the hajj or hajjat, ihtiyaj, the need for food, the need for intaking, the need for nourishing, the need for fulfilling a deficiency and lack. That's precisely what the bride of the Christ wants that male remembrance rock to penetrate her and fill her. Give us our daily bread. You beg for that. That's the yearning, that's the hunger, that's the demand, that's the requirement. You become crazy if you don't get that love that Allah is giving you, or the manna or the mani or the sperm that of Allah. And that sperm is the river of life, or the Euphrates or Christ, that the river, and the Salsabili river that is coming through that spine, Salsabil pass. And so that is Hajj, and so لَتَبْلَغُ عَلَيْهَا حَاجَّةً فِي صُدُورِهِمْ, so that you can speak out the need, craving, yearning that you have in your heart for receiving. Hebrews 22:82 means the feast of the pilgrim feast. That's the meaning of the pilgrim feast, or we call it Chagag or Chagag or Hajj is what is called in Arabic, and that is Hajj or Ihtiyaj or Hawaj or Hajjat, and that's and so once this hunger, need, or hajj, or ihtiyaj, or hajat is word and talk and logos and expirat out by begging pilgrim, knock and then it will be open to you, say and then you will be given food. Then Allah, Father, Fater, Feeder, Feeder, will put into your tinat, that is thanatos or empty, dead, clay, mind, animal, intellect, would get his kakras cup, or the male remembrance rock of Isa, his zakara, or the Hebrew 21:42-45, and huwa Allah zakran wa Quran mubin, to drop, cook bread, manna meat, pour love light, full wine word, jaculate, sabayan sperm spirit, reina raham, Allah rahmatan minna wa mata and Elohim, provision, faith, food, and the mercy milk for pilgrim heart pitcher, or itosing nuash, and nose and nose, inashing one, or the ethosing, the accepting, loving one. This symbiotic speaking that you say, I need, I have hajat, I have requirement, I have hunger, and then the merciful fathering or feeding, or the pattering, or feeding, it's the name of the Allah. And then you say to Allah, and then Allah says that, so here is my cup, receive it. This symbiotic is speaking is the living language of the Hezbollah hearts with messianic Mumbuk mirror of Allah. It is Allah that is behind the Salam screen. As we can see in this verse, the reciprocal linkage of the communication channel, or the bidirectional double conic neurological model of consciousness, that is bidirectional or mutual, or the reciprocal linkage, is made from pure love, loving need, and plus loving to give, or mirroring and mimicking of original mercy, or from female hajjat or hajjat, yearning, hunger, need, for legacy hujjat, for legacy hujjatul balagha, or the Allahi allegation, or the feast of Allahi allegation, reasoning, logic, give me curing for my sanity, so that I don't end up going to a psychiatrist that is being graduated by reading Jung and Freud, as has not even reached the level of maturity to know that true psychologists must declare that those are sick psychopaths, Hindu maggots, and if a psychiatrist is not doing it, it shows that that psychiatrist is another sick, like the those Freud and Jung, Hindu gurus. The allegation, rational logic to be digested, pilgrim eating, intaking, portal mouse of eager logos, or from expressing out of hijayun, hayajaning, excitement of the Sarajan Baharjan of Psalms 9:16, for excitedly Quran roaring moon book of Harjan, Hajja, or the Sarajan Baharjan. Also, like, it is like as if you say that sing for me, I am alone, don't leave me alone in my retard loneliness, because 7 billions of the peoples around me, multiplied by all the number of the stars, I am still alone. We are all dead. You sing from the Edeni time that it has the Kakras clock of the 24 elders in it. That's where the contact, the alien contact happens. Abduct me, take me out of myself, give me that excitement, that you want that, and this wanting, this desire is the most bitterly sarcastic and virtue of Islam and Christianity, that vegetarian vampires of Shiva Shova bitterly demonize it. And again, you don't want, they said that you don't want anything, you don't want that. All you need is to elongate and extend at the harihit of the root chakra and extra intelligence. Just get these, just don't stretch your hand toward one. How much zero you want, I give you. If I make your income 6-digit number or 10-digit number, then will you shut up, and then will you put aside that hijayan and the excitement of asking or ishqing or yeshaing or priesting or praising or the Yasin Yasna Izad Yazdan, so that from he gets his Isus Yazeshwarsi cup to give you your daily food, and break your silence with his 7 thundery Quran roar, or with his zakaring, or the remembrance dance, remembrance, that means zakar means remembrance, or the male Zakar in huwa illa zikrun wa Qur'anun mubin, or he is the benign or bayaning or discerning Quran. And you, which means again the mozghe is nothing, the mozghe is alaqing from your core or your nataf or your water droplet or pot or dark matter, dark energy, word, dark matter, dark energy made word. That can be a silent word, although you are living for 100 years, or it can be a bird that lives shortly but sings a lot. And you are carried upon them, your animal intellect is, your deaf brains, electromagnetic bodies, your mute minds, the mental mosaics of the beta brainwave, and upon and so again the nataf is being carried by means of the intermediate link of alaq, by means of the mosque realm, or and upon floating, kept up, held up from collapsing by Christ, by floating fluka, film, ship, sheet, layer, plane, property, paper. Those are all the accounts that we have the flukai paper, or the folk, or the flukai film, or the mammary plane, or the firm lodging plane of the soul seeds. Now that's where the immediate experience is happening, or the surface of the Dead Sea, that is under the lowest sky. But the pit where the molded power pods, or the hearts, or the qulub, or the self sources, or the zurriya, or the natafs are kept, or the malakuti membrane, or the maqami plane of mamar and Hebrewing to the other side, or the Yabeshi desert garden, Bagua, Hamuna, Adama, above Galilee garden, and your natafs, who are carried in delta brainwave underworld, and your mozghas that are carried in the beta brainwave waking state, are linked through the suspended link leakage alaqz, intermediary range of alpha and theta brainwaves. And so, contrary to the stoned ape theory of the Magog orangutans, which are programmed by CIA and Tavistock Institute of Buddha Abudanic Antichrist, the language is not made from the synthetic shinar sensations of the sounds and the color and geometries on psychedelics through the psychedelic experience of bunch of stone sadhus and Buddhic baboons, which were eating alpha to omega desto paste of ant soma, that is grown out of the cow pile copy, which is the agnic brain food of ignited apes and burning mans, and the Jewish Kabbalists and Talmudic Taoists of Fardful Pharaoh Budapest, or the Tamuzi third. That which is cannot come from that which is not. Language can come from protos to eskatosi, shamaim si of the meaning, whose barak barukai bakaring fire flare era would cook, cure, detox, bake, burn, or bless, or or allage, or euloge, or break the poisonous dough paste of foaming fungi, and imbue it with meaning, reason, logic, love. That is honey how 12 baskets of the halal cubensis mushroom, or the cooked bread, would drop miraculously from Katuzi throne of the moonshining Messiah, so that some of the 5,000 Sufi students and the shamans of the Kaukaras class can later on eat those Christian cubensis mushrooms, or dating dates, which again this is in the Surah of the Theotoken, as the dates, the yellow dates or the fresh dates that are yellow, which were rained from him solar self. Although high IQ Hindu heads and the Jewish geniuses and the Taoist thinkers of Barack Babu Obama, whose cursed consciousness is based on cow pile, cow pee, or the holy cattle excrement, have been able to produce scientific and artificial plagiarizations and counterfeits of counterfeit ways of growing a mushroom and mass cultivation, artificial cultivation of the psilocybin cubensis by its spores. However, the miracle and language stars, when were halal manna days, would naturally pop out of the dead ground by a holy hint from Isa Messiahi Mahishasuria. That's the ultimate level that never an organized intelligence can overcome. And so I finish my talk about the Kalamosi origin of language by reminding the end-time readers who are in scientific sin city of Sodom and Egypt of the Pharaoh Buddha that the most important reason for killing the prophets and the Sufficient students and apostles of Kaukaras class is that these prophetic pots have been waterwarded and fulfilled with Pishun, Feshan, Potion, Facey payloads of meaning, milk, medium, and bayan and binai discernment, or the haytak, which gets our lingual form to function properly. Once the meaning is hijacked and the messenger is killed, in Revelation 16:6, 18:20, and 24, then opinions of the scriptural scholars cannot revive the lost meaning, because again they don't have the Ainul Yaqin and Ilmul Yaqin, or they don't have the eye of certainty and knowledge of certainty. They are just guessing. And every once in a while they kill whoever is against their guess, especially when they are divided and zebra stripped into hostile sects which are alienated from a scriptural peer review that neighboring plots are entrusted with. And because they can do that peer review, but again when you are talking about the Christianity, then and then you ask them how much is the percentage that have written the book of the Paraclete, you are not talking about the high percentage, unfortunately, because they have zebra stripped and divided. At the same time, the Muslim neighborhood, when you are talking about the lower body and then the belly and the shoulder of the Quranic head and the hands and the leg of all the metaphors that are used in the Holy Quran, then you are talking about maybe less than 5% of the population of that neighborhood. And so that's why they don't get to healthy translations of the language. Once the merciful meaning medium or Ravanahi reasoning at becoming basis, because if you read in Genesis 2:23 or 3:20, then you see all of the namings are coming because she was taken from he became the Mosanna or the Unsa or Hava of the haying ones, the living ones. These are all showing that the names namings are coming because of a basis, based on a basis of a reason, and there is no reasoning in the sound packages of Meshiking Tubals or the drummers. There is no reasoning in the music. It can go completely according to the mind state, or the mosaic mask state. That has nothing to do with the language. Basis that is behind the name calling or the formal facade of the language. Once the merciful meaning milk medium or the reason or the Ravanahi reasoning and becoming basis that is behind the name calling or the formal facade of the language is dried and withered, a low quality translation of Quranahi Gospel are not peer reviewed by wonderful word works of master elders on the shuyukh like Rumia, who have dived and raised in Laylatul Qadr, after the Laylatul Qadr, nights of the love with power. منهم من يتوفى من قبل ومنكم من يرد إلى أرذل الأمم of Surah 40:67. From you are the ones that we are killing them before they die. That's why are they being killed? Because of the Genesis 33 and eating from the forbidden fruit. Just like the son that Prophet Khidr killed, or I that I was killed in Surah 18 verse 75, and so and that's how they are going to the Alpha to Omega, Arzal al-Umr, the lowest of the ages. Okay. And so once this merciful milk or the becoming basis is dried and withered, and low quality translations of Quranahi Gospels are not peer reviewed by wonderful words of master elders who have dived and raised and have seen, basically have the Ainul Yaqeen and Ilmul Yaqeen, or have eye of the certainty of the path to repeat and know what's going on, then we will end up in the current end time crisis in love language, or the Shanasi knowledge, which is used by Dajjalic Buddha Pharaoh and its bodhisattvic digits to bring more vanity and scientific destruction. That's the destruction, or the Shiva Shavai destruction, and hateful open-mindedness to the end time heirs.